going on? What's going on? Welcome back to another episode of What the Game Means to Me. New year. I won't say new us, but new year. Gonna get into it. Of course, we had our first or haven't had our first few ball games, but we had our first two, college football playoff games last night. Pretty good ones. Of course, we're gonna start off with the one I think that shocked folks the most. Ohio State versus Clemson. So we'll get into that first, but of course, got my co-host today with me, Dad Bell. How you doing today, sir? And Happy New Year's to you.
Happy New Year's, bro. Ready to keep this show kicking off. We're gonna be coming at y'all all year, so stay tuned.
Of course, yeah. So, what you think about this first game? I know we talked about it a little bit last year, about a week ago. And of course, we had Jeff Hunt on, a big Ohio State fan. I think he's still out celebrating right now, but we'll catch up with him later on, maybe before the national championship game. But what did you think of this matchup, and what do you, I guess, think of the game overall and the outcome? I think shocked a lot of people. 3 touchdown win against Clemson is in the blink your eye over. So what you see from this game?
Yeah, the game, it shocked me just like everybody else. I stated a couple of weeks ago that there was a probability, like there's a small possibility that Ohio State could come out with a dub, but they'd have to play a perfect game pretty much. But I
Yeah.
didn't see this coming. 23 touchdown win, a complete, I think a complete dominating win. Like after Ohio State tied the game up at 14-14, it was never close again. They just, outperformed them. Dominant on the offensive side. You see those three starters that they had out came back and helped them with the addition of
Hmm.
Chris Olave because he took the top off of the defense all night.
Yeah.
Just a surprising win. Didn't expect this to happen. I didn't know if Ohio State was ready for the challenge, and they were, but it's part like they were ready to play. They wanted revenge, but Dabo didn't help himself by just talking. He just
Yeah.
wouldn't shut up talking about the ranked number 11. Like, even though they only played 6 games, we all know that Ohio
Yeah.
State was a top 5 team. They could possibly win the whole thing, which they might. So, surprising game. I was shocked watching it. Like, I couldn't believe it. Like, I was waiting for the Clemson comeback, but it just,
Yeah.
never happened. They kept their foot on the gas.
Yeah.
And I'll go in detail a little later about the Justin Fields injury and stuff, but he played a phenomenal game. He had a couple of shaky games. He heard the doubters, the people talking about he's falling in draft boards or
Hmm.
should the Jets keep Sam Darnold. He heard all the noise, and he said he prepared like no other for this game, and it showed on the field even after the injury.
Yeah. Exactly. Yeah. Just like you, I was pretty much. I thought it was gonna be just a tale of two halves. I thought first half, like you said, after it tied 14-14, then Ohio State took off second quarter. I thought Clemson that second half, third quarter, which they came out and scored a touchdown, but I thought that was in. But they let up another touchdown. But basically, I thought that second half was going to be Clemson's half. They were going to come back. It was going to be some come down to the last drive type thing. And Trevor Lawrence kind of saves the day for them or whatever. But like you said, they didn't take their foot off the gas pedal. They pretty much went back to back, and then they shut them out. Putting two more up on the board. Clemson not being able to score. It was crazy because Ohio State's defense is really good, but the amount of pressure they was able to get on Lawrence, and then make him move so much, make him so uncomfortable, and then they held I think him and NTN to like 24 rushing yards, like
Yeah,
stuff
Etienne
like
had
that.
32.
Yeah, like that's ridiculous. That's crazy. Especially like you said, that running attack and just NTN being able to either kill you in the run game or the pass game. They was able to hold him to pretty much nothing. So yeah, I guess it was an overall team effort. All three phases did what they needed to do. But shout out to that defense for making Lawrence like just super uncomfortable, not letting him do pretty much anything at all. So and like you just said, Justin Fields had an incredible day, 6 touchdowns, 6 incompletions. Like that's crazy in itself. But I don't know if it really went under the radar, but I don't know if it was just me. Every single time he dropped back for a pass and they was going to try to take a deep shot, Clemson DBs was just never in position, like ever. Like Olave and Wilson was always behind them, like every single
I
play.
think it's a small thing. I think like they talked in the locker room. You know how like when he first got injured on the first TD pass, he was
Yeah.
wincing, he was throwing like maybe they weren't respecting him, like throwing the ball over the top.
Mm-hmm.
But as you saw with the pass to Olave, I don't know what they shot him up with at half, but
Yeah.
he wasn't feeling it. He was still feeling it, but not completely because the ball
Exactly.
was in the air about 60 yards. So.
Yeah. Yeah, so the second half is definitely when they took advantage of it. But I feel like even in the first half, there was sometimes they could have took some deep shots and it was open. I was like, what a deep. I don't know if it was
They're looking in the
like
back a lot.
yeah, yeah. 'Cause I don't know. Was it Rabels? I don't know if like he was just kind of like playing like a cat and mouse game, kind of seeing like what they was going to do before he went with a certain direction in his defense or what. But it's just like I felt like they were just baiting, like you said, they wasn't respecting Wilson or Olave at all, no matter what type of if they was playing, coverage or if they was playing man, like every single time they were just behind them. But like I said, I guess they're just a testament to Fields and those receivers and that offense and doing what they're supposed to do. And that boy Sermon too. I thought Master
Yeah,
T maybe being out, yeah, would kind of hurt a little bit. But nah, Sermon every time he's been the lead back, he stepped up tremendously and he just
he
be
had
bullying those boys.
he had 31 carries for 193.
Exactly. And
And I know
I
he had
forgot.
some receiving yards too.
Yep.
So
It was one and it was one I think one of the penalties took away his 200-yard rushing game. I think it was a face mask penalty. So yeah, that boy is something serious as well. But overall, I think I don't know. I said Clemson 14. Um, but like I said, it's nothing to bet your eye at. 3 touchdown win over Clemson. I personally thought it was going to be a close game throughout the entire. And then, like I said, like towards the end, maybe Lawrence and the Tigers offense would take advantage and just put the game away. But it was just super dominating performance. It was crazy, like I said, just kind of waiting for that Clemson comeback, and it never happened, which we're typically not used to. But like I said, Ohio State has been a top 5 team all year, even though they've been riddled with 22 starters being out, you know, games being canceled, them playing 2-3 weeks in between, like it just craziness. But like I said, they have the talent, and you see every year they retool, they got the pieces, and that's why they're in the position they're in. You got to face Alabama, you know, in a week or whatever. But yeah, well, I guess talk about a few little key points within the game first before we move on to the next college football game. But like you just said, you pointed to a little bit earlier, the hit. First question I wanted to ask is, do you think it was targeting? And do you think he should have been thrown out for it?
um okay. It's kind of weird. It is targeting, but
Mm-hmm.
it's only targeting because of the rules they put in. I think it's a BS call, especially in this big of a game. Like, what is he kind of supposed to do it in a way? Like, I'm a quarterback, so like I'm
Mm-hmm.
should be defending Fields, but he kind of like spun into it, if you get what I mean. So
Yeah.
what could the defender really do? But no, I don't think he should have been thrown out. But yes, it was targeting, so they had to abide by the rules they came up with. So you know,
Yeah.
it is
I
what it
feel
is.
that. Yeah, I feel that. In the little off the ball group chat, they was pretty much saying the same thing. Like you just said, I think by rule it had to be called as targeting, but in reality, just as football players, a former football player, like we know that wasn't targeting because like what else is he supposed to do? Like you said, he spun into it. Unfortunately, the crown of his helmet hit the back of his or the back side of his rib cage or whatever, but I think I saw someone, not really, I think it was a college football player himself, but kind of like trying to break down the picture. It's like they said if he would have basically tried to tackle and kept his head up, he would have been hitting him with the crown of his helmet. I forgot where I think it would have been helmet to helmet, I think he said. So I think he tried to do the best he possibly could to avoid any type of, helmet to helmet contact or any type of, injury that could have been worse injury that could have been sustained from the hit that he was about to deliver. So I personally don't think, like you just said, I don't think it was targeting either. And unfortunately, this is his second year back to back getting thrown out, being called for targeting in a big game for them. Luckily, I guess last year didn't hurt as much, but even though this year I don't know if how much of an effect. Obviously, he's their captain or one of the captains on that defensive side, and he, you know, with them putting in I think a third or fourth string guy, number 17, I forgot his name. It probably did hurt a little bit, but the way Fields and that offense was rolling, like I said, the pressure the defense was putting on Clemson's offense, I don't know if it would have been really anything to stop them from winning this game. But unfortunately, like I said, it's just tough on him, I guess, to go out like that in another back to back years with another game. So somebody said it's a spearing hit. This has been illegal for years. I mean, looked like he's a David retiree. I mean, I don't know. Do you want to respond to that? Do you think?
Um, I mean, like I understand it's a legal hit, but I'm just saying, like, what is the defender supposed to do? He spun into the hit. He's breaking down to make a tackle. He's not, trying to lead with his head and spear the dude in the back. The dude literally kind of, spun into it. It wasn't the most effective spin, which is why he got hit in the back like that. But yeah, there's nothing the defender could have done about it.
Yeah, I don't know. I think
You
they
only
could have.
have as a defender, you only have like half a second to react. You can't
Mhm.
really think about that. Oh, let me lean to the side and hit him here so I don't hit him in the back. He wasn't trying to do that, but yeah, it was an illegal play, which is why he got thrown out. So it is
Yeah,
what it is. It's unfortunate, like I said, but nothing you could do
e-
about
exactly. Yeah, pretty much like you just said. It's unfortunate, like I said, and just for him to go out that way, wouldn't want it to happen. But that's just how it happens. Like I said, sometimes you can't really do anything about that. Like I said, the offensive guy kind of not blaming the victim, I guess in a sense, but it's like that spin kind of is what caused it. Like say he didn't try to spin, he just say he doesn't spin, he doesn't hit the backside of backside to rib side. He hits him straight forward, like kind of like basically drives through the tackle, and it's not a spearing call or whatever. So unfortunate, but that's just how the cookie crumbles, I guess. And I forgot to mention it before, but anybody that is watching and wants to maybe hop in, give their comments or whatever. I put the link in the comments in the description or whatever, so you can just click on that link. I'll see you in the background, and then we can add you in, and you can give your spill on the games that we're going to be talking about today. So he said I don't agree with the ejection, but I do agree with the call. Pretty much, yeah, like I said,
it. Yeah,
we're pretty much saying the same thing.
real quick, I'll add something to that. It's crazy that he said that. I saw something like that on Twitter today, which is the same way he became pretty much not
Yeah,
completely paralyzed, but ended his NFL career.
yeah.
And his didn't even like the contact wasn't even the same. Like Ryan Shazier's, he didn't even hit the dude that hard, which is kind of
Mhm.
crazy. But yeah.
Yeah, so I guess we pretty much trying to say, yeah, we agree the same thing that you're saying, but I guess that those rules, I guess, are putting protection also for the defender who's delivering the hit as well, because like you just said, unfortunately it ended Shazier's career, and maybe it could have possibly been a same situation with Orlowski, but you know I guess like I said, those rules are just put in place to protect both sides, but unfortunately in a big game like this, you don't want to see it be called, but by the rule book, looks like it had to be called. Um, but of course, next thing I want to talk about this guy, six TDs, six incompletions, one offensive player of the game. Of course, for this matchup. So, what do you think? I guess about the gutsy performance that he put on after this hit, and where do you think? I guess that motivation came from. I know he talked about it a few times, saying, of course, it came from them losing last year, that last drive, and not being able to come through for his team, them putting in the work in the off season, pretty much grinding for this moment. They had the score up in their locker room pretty much all year. So, what do you think about this? Like I said, gutsy performance and how he was able to lead his team to victory.
You took the words right out of my mouth. It was a gutsy performance, man. To be honest, when he got hit and the way he was moving on the drive after that and going into the half, I'm like, I think Clemson was going to come back. I was like, there's no way he can, just hand the
Finish off
ball
this
off.
game, yeah.
Yeah, like he was over there just trying to, dump off the ball. Wasn't even trying to throw the ball down the field. I'm like, I
Mhm.
don't think this is going to last. But whatever happened at halftime, I know he said a quick prayer, got a little shot. But
Yeah.
like the way he came out, he played. I feel like he played better in the second half. Like when he really,
Hmm.
really needed to put the game away, made some big plays, big throws down the field. Because the knock on him in the past couple of weeks is he wasn't seeing the field well. He was locking in on one receiver, not getting to his 1, 2, 3. And as he said earlier, he prepared for this game like no other, and it just showed off his he was on target with everything. Didn't miss many throws, didn't miss many reads, and made everything happen when it counted. And his team just he was the best player on the field yesterday, and that was what was required for them to come out with a dub, and he did that. But
Yeah.
I mean, they're just he's had games like this. I would say with 6 TDs, but the 24 for 25 for 5 touchdowns and 350. But for this to happen against Clemson and make their defense look like a defense we haven't seen from them in years, it's
Hmm.
pretty remarkable.
Yeah.
He earned it though. He was definitely the best player out there last night.
Yeah. For sure, like head and shoulders above, like I said, and I guess the matchup with him and Lawrence, we got the second rematch, both Georgia
I
boys,
meant to
Georgia
add that.
quarterbacks.
Can I add that real quick?
Yeah, of course.
Yeah. Like I said last year, they lost the way they lost on the pick in the end zone, the score being up, the
Hmm.
people just talking about the Fields in particular with him struggling against people like not Illinois, Indiana in the Big Ten championship game versus Northwestern, talking about his stock. Like I know he's locked in on the game, but he hears all that stuff, and that's just
Hmm.
fuel to the fire. And him being 1-2 with Lawrence, them having the same trainer since they were like 10 years old, which is crazy,
Hmm.
Coach Field, and him just, that stuff's always just in the back of his head. And he had to
Yeah,
one of them. He couldn't go out being 0-2 versus a little, I wouldn't call it his rival, but it is his rival in a way.
yeah, yeah. Friendly rival, friendly competition. Like you said, they just so not sort of kind of from the same neck of the woods, same state, highly recruited. And just Fields has had a little bit different path than Lawrence himself. Like I said, they're even through the NFL when they get to their respective teams, they're probably going to be pit against each other from here on out. Like I said, just those storylines and everything, their backstory and all. So I mean, I'm happy for him for sure. For getting this
Sure.
win, got his little trophy, offensive player of the game, and then we'll talk about it a little bit later. But what we expect from him and his boys against Alabama, and they're just stout team in general. But let's move on to the other matchup. A lot of people kind of more so not angry about it, but just had a lot to say, of course, about
That's what we
Notre
talked
Dame
about
team.
a couple weeks ago.
Yeah, yeah, it's that's why it's second in what we're talking about today. But of course, Alabama Notre Dame game. Just initial reactional thoughts, and just what you thought from the game in general before we get into the
Um,
details.
Not as bad as the past, but it was what we expected. We
Hmm.
were all disappointed. Pretty much, that's really all I can say. It was everybody knew Alabama was going to win. Thought it would have been in more dominating fashion. Notre Dame hung around a little bit, but the game was never
Hmm.
close. If you get what I mean.
Yeah.
Another dominating performance by Mac Jones. Good game by him. I don't know how the Heisman is going to shake up, but I could see somehow maybe him pulling it off. But it will be hard for him to get it over Devontae Smith with the season he's
Yeah.
had. But dominant game, dominant but balanced game by Alabama once again.
Hmm.
Notre Dame, I just don't know what it is. They played okay. They just Alabama's players were just better. Some of them made some plays on the perimeter.
Hmm.
Made plays when they needed to be made. And Notre Dame had a point. I forgot what the score was. I think they were down 2 touchdowns, and they were
Hmm.
past the 50. They were in like Alabama's 45, and Ian Book threw that last pick when he was
Yeah.
rolling out. And after that, I knew the game was over. You just can't give Alabama extra possessions because they don't punt the ball at all.
Yeah. At all. That's probably the least utilized guy on their field on their team.
Yeah, it's frustrating, man, because we knew this was going to happen. Maybe the same thing would happen to Notre Dame, but I think me and other people are tired of seeing Notre Dame get it shot because we know the result. Like even if they
Yeah.
go 12-0, 12, I just don't trust them until they. We need to put some other blue bloods on their schedule to see what
Yeah.
they're about because every time they get in a big moment, they're just not ready.
Yeah. I think they showed a graphic on ESPN last night. They haven't every single chance they've had at the national championship, they have lost by 14 or more points. And like you just said, we already know the result. It's unfortunate, but it's like we know no matter what they do throughout the year, we know that they're getting smacked by 14 at minimum when they face any of these other top teams. But of course, I know because I don't have it on the list for us to talk about, but I believe your pick. I think also maybe Jeff's pick, and I was also maybe valiant for them a little bit as well, just because my Florida Gators lost 3 games. Not Oklahoma. Yeah, Oklahoma. My fault. Yeah. Did you think that they would pick up a bigger fight than Notre Dame did yesterday? I know a lot of people probably say anybody would have.
Wait, say that one more time. You thought who?
Oklahoma.
Hey man, like I said, bro, they were hot. They were like the best team in college football since they lost to Iowa State, and y'all got a dose of that. I mean, I knew you guys were gonna lose because you guys had so many offensive people opt out.
Yeah, there was no way for us to win that game, but we'll talk about that a little bit later. But
I don't know, man. I don't know. They would have put up more points. Let me say that. I think
mm,
so. But same result. Bama. They're too dominant this year. Like I don't know what they've been doing, but they're finding these receivers. Mechie. There was another guy. I think number
mm-hmm.
11. I don't know who he is, but
Yeah,
picture
he
he
just
got
come out
big.
the woodworks. Yep.
But yeah, Oklahoma had no shot. Bama.
So you think it would be pretty much the same result? Maybe
Unless
just a
they
little.
got the 2 seed or the 3 seed where they had to play Clemson or Ohio State in the first game, there was
Mm,
no competition, regardless of the remaining teams that wanted to get in. A&M, Georgia,
yeah,
Cincy, all those teams. Yeah.
yeah, I feel that. Yeah. I think everyone's just on the same consensus. Everybody just wanted to see maybe another team. Like obviously, given what the year has been, like them going 10-0 going to ACC championship, then losing to Clemson, even though they lost pretty bad. It was just kind of written in stone. They was already going to get this shot, but he said we just already knew what the result was going to be, and unfortunately, like you said, we just had to go through another year with kind of like, it feels like a wasted playoff game in a sense. Because even though last night with Clemson and Ohio State wasn't really close, it still was entertaining in ways because what Clemson can possibly do. Like we've seen them get down and be able to come back in big games and storyline and all that. And then of course Dabo, like you said, just running his mouth and feeding the fire that is Ohio State. We knew that it just was something to be entertained by. I ain't gonna lie, I was on the way back. I didn't even get to really watch Notre Dame Alabama game. I was watching a little bit, but like once I saw them go up like 21-7, I was just like, yeah, it really ain't no point in me trying to figure out to watch the rest of the game. Like I said, then I went back, saw it was 31-7. I was like, yeah, it's pretty much a done deal. Like I said, Notre Dame's offense just isn't explosive enough to even compete and try to put up numbers against these big blue blood teams. So yeah, just another year. I guess like Brian Kelly said, he said they're gonna continue to be in this spot some way, somehow. I think if everything goes back to normal this upcoming year, them not being in the ACC again, that might hurt their chances of, getting looks.
Kudos to him though. He's changed the program.
Yeah. Just overall, yeah.
This is his third. I count the BCS game when they lost.
That's what I'm about to say. You gotta count that.
So he's had basically like 3 BCS Bowl national championship appearances for what are they? A Catholic school?
Yeah, it's
that's not. Football's not even their main priority. I like what he's done with the program. That's what I have to say. Even though they're not getting it done when they get there, to get there is something because
you
don't see that from Notre Dame. Even though back in the day when they had Golden Tate and Brady Quinn, they were pretty straight. But yeah, I like what he's doing. Future's bright. He'll get more recruits based off this type of stuff too.
Yeah, that's all I was about to say. That's what he does. He just pretty much recruits retools, and like every 2 years, they're pretty much right back in the conversation. But like I said, just can't get it done. There's eventually like a point to it's always that time where people always getting there, but always waiting for you to get over that hump. And then if you don't, it's kind of like criticisms coming your way. So hopefully they're able to figure something out next year. Like I said, not being the ACC, or who knows, they might be able to join back again. But it's a conversation for next year. But of course, this was like I said, we talking details, little key points in each game. This was pretty much on the highlights, A-Rice highlight reels when talking about the game last night and today. So what did you, I guess, think of this Najee Harris hurdle? And then, like I said, just Najee Harris as a player, as a back, as a whole.
The play, he's a freak, bro. Him as a player, it's crazy that like just me playing football, like sometimes looking at stuff to see, I watch videos about like recruits and stuff. How the top people, some of the top people, just to see, sometimes. And I heard about him being from Cal. He graduated 2017, and I used to always think he was cold. Like I watched his stuff from the opening and stuff, and I'm wondering like when he got to Bama, I'm like, why is this dude not seeing the field? But I'm like, I see the talent, like. When he gets opportunity, or when he gets an opportunity to become the number 1 back, he's gonna take off, and it happened. Everything like I've seen from his senior year in high school, pretty much. So when he got to Bama, I'm not really surprised. He's a 3-down back. Like he's literally a versatile back. He running between the tackles. He can beat you for 60, and he can catch the ball out the backfield efficiently. He doesn't drop too many passes. Sometimes he does, but it is what it is. But he's a complete back, man. This year he's had, the career he's had at Bama the last 2 years has boosted his draft stock, and I'm glad he didn't leave last year with Tua.
Yeah.
Stayed another year. I think this helped him because of the season he's had, the season Alabama's had, and how he's dominated. I could see him being a late first-round pick, and you know how that's rare for backs. But
exactly.
The way he's played and what he's put on display, I can see something like that happening. A team with a real need for a running back. So we'll see. Maybe the Steelers grab him.
Yeah. That's it. Even my team, we need one. But my next question was just like Lawrence and Fields are kind of slotted 1-2 for quarterback wise. I think Harris and Etienne is pretty much slotted for the first backs that should become or should be drafted. So, do you think yesterday's games, both of their difference of performances, do you think that has any variation? And we're going to talk about Lawrence and Fields later on with the same question pretty much. But do you think yesterday's performances by Harris and Etienne kind of shifts the draft stock a little, a ways? Like pretty much Harris's goes up, Etienne's go down. Harris might be first off the board before Etienne. What you think?
Based off yesterday, I can't put too much into that. That's one game.
Yeah.
So yeah, I can't really put too much into that. But the season for Etienne as a whole hasn't been the best.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if he made a mistake coming back, but just he hasn't had the same type of seasons he had his sophomore and junior year.
Yeah.
But I can't base anything draft wise off of one game. Notre Dame's defense and Ohio State's defense is a little different.
That is true. I will say that. Yeah, but over I guess like I said, as a whole too, like you just said, Etienne's season I think comparable to both. I think Harris has probably had a little bit better of a season.
Yeah, he's had a better season, but I'm just saying, like, I don't think they'll base. It's a lot. All the film, Etienne has a lot of film on tape. They both stayed 4 years, which is kind of crazy, but Etienne has more film on tape.
Yeah,
more film out there, so we'll see.
Yeah, I think. Well, my Falcons, we need it back, so I don't think I'd be, disappointed with drafting either one of them. What you about to say?
Ito's not the guy.
Don't make jokes, bro. Yeah, Ito's not the guy. Ito's
supposed
to be changing. I mean, I be liking him when he's in. Like he's a nice little change of pace back, but he ain't seen the like
every down.
Yeah, he's not an every down back, and he doesn't really see this field that much. Like he ain't start seeing the field. I guess he had a little bit of injuries. Like he ain't start seeing the field really till real late in the season this year, because I guess we expected Todd Gurley to do a lot. But nice change of pace back, but he's still third on the depth chart. Brian Hill is like, yeah, we need upgrade big time. But yeah, pretty much moving on. We'll talk a little bit about, of course, previewing the national championship game. I know we're going to do it again right before the game, but just peek ahead now since we're talking about both games. Who do you think wins the national championship game, and then kind of what do you expect to see from the game as a whole?
Same thing I said when we previewed the two games that happened yesterday. I don't know, but if I had to, pick today, I would go with Bama in a close one. I just feel like they'll force. I don't know. It depends on a lot. Like if Trey Sermon can keep going in Fields, their balanced attack would be deadly.
Mm-hmm.
But if it doesn't, I feel like Bama can force a couple of turnovers, and I don't think they can be stopped this year. Najee Harris is unstoppable. They got Mechie, they got Devontae Smith, and that other cat. And if you notice, Sean Wade didn't have the best. Their number one corner didn't have the best day yesterday.
Yeah.
And Devontae is the best corner. I mean, the best receiver this year. So I don't know. But if I had to pick today, I would go with Bama by 10. But, a lot can change. My mind might change. I just go with my gut and what I see on film for the most part.
Yeah. I feel that.
I don't think my mind's going to change this time. I think this is Bama's year. St. Nick's been out for what? He hasn't won in 2 years. It's too long for him.
Yeah.
He needs another ring.
Exactly. I think they back in and I think they take the win as well. But I think it's going to, like you just said, a very entertaining and close game, though. Just the gutsy performance, like we were talking about earlier, that Fields put on yesterday. I feel like, he can do that against this Alabama's defense that, although has been improving like down the stretch of the rest of this season, there was times this year that we saw they could be had by teams that probably has less of an explosive offense than Ohio State does. So it's possible, like you said, it's probably gonna have to come from them being balanced. Like it has to be pretty much almost not the same game plan, but pretty much the same type of tempo as yesterday. Like it has to be Sermon, my fault, is getting 6 to 8 yards running whenever he does, and then Fields is able to extend plays and make plays, and Wilson or Olave are able to be in the position to receive the ball, and beat those corners beat Alabama's corners just like they did Clemson's yesterday. So, I mean, it's going to be really interesting. I'm definitely excited. I think I tweeted yesterday, like it already feels like a new year. We don't have to see Clemson, Bama for the third, fourth time. So, I'm loving that Ohio State, was able to, clip them off and insert themselves into the national championship game. But like you said, I think it might just be Bama's year. Like we done seen it too many times, like every single game this year, that it's just hard to find. It's hard one to find a weakness from them, and then it's hard, like you said, you have to take advantage. Like I don't know. I'm trying to think. Like I don't all the games I've seen Alabama play this year. I don't know if I've seen a turnover, and I'm
No, Mac Jones has played some perfect. I
yeah,
actually want to look at his stats. Yeah, he's 36-4, bro. Let's see.
yeah, like
And one thing, I have a question for you. Like, why did Bama fail, or why didn't they win the ship when they had Judy and Ruggs? Like, how was that even guardable when they all played at
these
the same time? I'm just trying to figure that out. Like, all right, now they have Devontae Mechie, which is he's a number 2 right now, but he'll come into his own next year
yeah.
when he
I
gets more.
think Jalen Waddles, but I don't know if it's gonna happen. I don't think it's the
I
right
saw him in
time.
the street clothes. He was moving around kind of good, but I don't
Yeah,
know.
yeah,
If he plays, he's staying another year. I don't think he's going to the draft.
exactly. Yeah, he's not going to draft, but I think he's supposed to be trying to push himself to come back for the championship game. I don't know. There's rumors. Could possibly happen. To make things even more interesting, like you said.
Yeah,
Um,
but the fact that they're doing this with really just one number one receiver is kind of
mhm,
crazy, and they can't stop him. Maybe it's the scheme. They're scheming him. Sarkisian is scheming him open. I don't
mhm.
know, which may be why he just got that job at Texas. But
Exactly. Yeah.
they're really unstoppable, and they don't. I'm not saying they don't have that many targets, but they have less than what they had last year, and they seem more unstoppable this year.
Yeah.
But hey, I don't know.
Yeah. Yeah. So that I have no arguments with that. Like you just said, we've seen what Ruggs and Judy's had decent years in the NFL this year. And like you said, that 1-2 combo. I don't know. I mean, I'm not, I was about to say, like, obviously the quarterback difference, Mac Jones and Tua, even though Tua had, like, he was having a pretty good year, I guess, before he got hurt last year. But I don't know. Mac Jones has just had I know just a different type of year. Like you said, it might be game plan of Sarkisian. Yeah,
No bad games.
exactly. Like none. I can't point out just one specific bad game that he's had. Like it might, his bad games have probably been like above average than quarterbacks across the scale this year in college football. So I don't know. I don't want to point to that and say maybe it was Tua. It probably I don't think it was like maybe like you just said the playbook with Sarkisian. Maybe with Tua they had it. They opened it up a lot more and then like let him make a lot more decisions and stuff like that. Like kind of using his arms, using like a little bit versus like with Mac Jones. Maybe like you said, they're scheming specifically for Najee and Devontae because they know they're incredible weapons. And like you said, like with Mac Jones, maybe his decision making is just off the charts and his accuracy and ball placement and all that it all just meshes well. And they're able to come out and just win games dominantly. So I don't know. It's incredible to see, like you said, but they definitely have less weapons, but have been unstoppable on the offensive end. But yeah, like you said, I think Alabama wins this one as well. Just gut reaction, but I think it's going to be close, and I just can't wait to overall see how Ohio State performs against them, especially given the performance that they just had yesterday. So, yeah. Then next, we want to talk about a few little points that's based off the game, but more so looking at NFL and just future, um, in future months coming up. But of course, we saw both these guys face off yesterday. We talked about it a little bit beforehand, but and this actually has a lot of course, implications for you, being that your Jacksonville Jaguars had that number one pick this year. And I know we talked about on other shows, and I think you said you'd rather take Lawrence. But given last night, I know we don't put too much into one game, put too much stock into one game. But based off last night, who do you think goes number one, and who would you rather have as your quarterback for your Jacksonville Jaguars?
Yeah, bro, you already said it. Pretty much. We don't put too much into one game. I love Fields. I love the performance. African American quarterback, want him to succeed from Georgia, all that stuff. But Trevor Lawrence, he's 34-2. His only two losses were in the championship game and then
Mm-hmm.
semifinal. Pretty remarkable career. Second best Clemson quarterback ever. Uh, we're gonna rock with him. The scouts have said nobody's giving him. Some of the scouts haven't graded anybody that high since Andrew Luck, John Elway, and those are all great comparisons. Andrew Luck ended his career early, but he was headed the right way.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, we can't pass on the generational talent. I refuse. I hope our owner and or our future GM didn't buy too much into that game. Let's just
Yeah.
calm down. Let's watch the tape and let's take the right guy. I hope Fields comes out and becomes maybe a Hall of Famer, Super Bowl winning quarterback. But with our pick, with our number one pick, I need us to take Trevor Lawrence, and I think that's who we will take. But great game. but I can't buy into one game. Even though he's had a great career too, but I
Yeah.
just better overall prospect from a pocket passing perspective or reading defenses. A lot of things. Oh, a lot of things. I think Trevor Lawrence is just a better guy for that.
Yeah, I feel that. I think when we talked about it before, I said, well, at that point the talk was, Lawrence is already kind of slotted at number one. I think he still is. People love to make storylines and stuff ahead of big games like this, and then also ahead of the NFL draft. I know we'll see it then as well, but um, we both said that Lawrence would probably be suited a lot better, of course, with Jacksonville than with the Jets, given that you guys got y'all got weapons on the offensive end for
Yeah.
sure. Y'all got it, if not decent, at least a better offensive line than the Jets do. And then you guys got a young defense, but one that works hard, and y'all got potential.
Players and pieces. Yeah, we have
Exactly.
potential pieces and places. Yeah.
Yeah, and we overall just said Lawrence would fit a lot better in Jacksonville. It's close to home as well. It would be an overall better fit than going to the Jets. But now that we still think he's slotted, he's still going number one there. What do you think the Jets do with that number two pick? Do you think they look too much into the game and they move on from Sam Darnold, pick up Fields, or what do you think is going with that? They go a different direction. They go what's his name, Penei Sewell?
Yeah. This is for me, man. This is a tough one because I'm not like many people. I'm a believer in Sam Darnold. I think he's a good quarterback. He's just his situation is terrible, and that takes a toll on the quarterback. But
Yeah.
it's tough, man. Fields had that crazy game, and like if he ends up being a superstar, you know how the Jets will be.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't know, man. If I was the GM for the Jets, I'd weigh my options, watch this last game, look at the tape, look at what we need from a personnel perspective to make our quarterback better. And then, if they really like Fields, go after him, but you gotta get something for Darnold first. I really don't know. Like
Yeah.
you gotta see before they give up Darnold, they gotta get at least a second round pick because I feel like he's worth that. And being a young QB, he's only our age.
Yeah, exactly.
He's just been in the league for a minute. So, they got a lot of options to weigh. A lot of options to weigh. It's going to be interesting to see what they do, especially if Fields goes out there and beats Bama and puts up another performance. You know how that goes.
Yeah.
Everybody's going to be buzzing about him. The Jets are in a tough predicament. It would have been a lot easier if they were number one. I'm kind of glad we're not in this predicament. No. My fault. We would have took Fields. But the Jets are in a tough spot because they already have a quarterback that some GMs and people like me think is capable, just needs to be in a better spot.
Yeah, in a better position.
Yeah, it's tough, man. It's tough. I really don't know. I'm undecided on what they should do, but they have options.
Yeah, I don't know. Like you said, I don't think Sam Darnold's a bad quarterback either. It's just like he's just in a terrible position. Like I said, even his receiving corps, like they're not terrible, but obviously it's not top of the league like in any form or fashion. Like Jameson Crowder being number one, that's not ideal, but he's capable.
They're not setting him up for success, bro. Jamison Crowder is a slot receiver, not a 100-catch season guy. None of that at all.
Yeah. Then it's called Perryman. He just in and out of the lineup. I forgot the other guy they had just drafted. He had okay games, but it's like their offensive line is just so terrible. Sam Darnold literally can't get them the ball. Like even if they were all-star type receivers, their offensive line is atrocious and just garbage. And like I said, defensive wise, like I don't know, they're just not a good football team, not a good football organization. Luckily, Adam Gase, I think, has been reported. More likely, they're showing him the door in the upcoming days. Probably literally right after the Sunday's game is over. Probably
he'll be out of about 4:30.
Yeah, that's all I'll say. He probably has his stuff packed up right now in the office. Got the moving trucks outside. Slide it for 4:30, like you said, after the game. So I don't know. It's just so interesting. Like maybe they kind of do the same thing like what Falcons are doing. Like obviously I think they already got rid of their GM, but they getting rid of Gase. They bring in a new regime, and they give them, full control, full go ahead, to decide whether they go after Fields or if they stick with Darnold. Because I like you just said, I'm a believer. I think Darnold is a solid quarterback. Obviously Fields is a little bit different. He brings different, tools to the table than Darnold does, but I don't think the right direction for them right now is drafting Fields. It might sound weird, but I don't think the right direction for them is drafting Fields and then just throwing them out to the wolves in a sense, because they got so many holes and pieces that they need to fill. That's just like, what's the point of drafting Fields? We see he's a tough guy. He's a big kid, but what's the point of drafting Fields? Putting him out there, get him hurt, and then your number one, your future is pretty much at stake from there because we don't know what type of injury he sustains. Like, we just seen what happened to Joe Burrow.
Yep.
Leg injury. He should be more than likely. I think he might possibly miss all of next season, and then come back fresh start of 2022. So I don't know. It'd be interesting. I don't know what direction they possibly can go or should go because they have so many holes. They just drafted offensive line last year, so do they go that way again, or like do they focus somewhere else? And these guys have been slotted 1-2 pretty much all year, even going back to last year, honestly. So it's like, who else is kind of surrounded in that area to where it's like they can, they go number 2. Like I said, Penny Sewell's like number 1 rated offensive tackle that everybody's looking to pick. So I don't know who they specifically go after in that spot. Do you have any ideas if they don't get Fields, who they should possibly look at to target?
Man, it's tough. If they don't get Fields, they got to go with best available or biggest need O-line.
Mm-hmm.
Jamal Adams, so it's just Marcus May back there by himself. I haven't even looked at their roster enough to know what they need, but I know they need a lot.
Yeah, everybody just knows they need a lot.
You're not gonna get a quarterback. I don't know. It's tough, man, because if you get a quarterback, you're leaving them out there to dry with the same personnel, unless you make some moves in free agency. But if you don't get one, you gotta surround Darnold with more help. Like, you can't.
Yeah.
I know you need defense, but you got to go offense. You got to help him out. I don't know. It's tough.
Let me read you. I just put up a mock draft. I'm probably going to go to a different one, but I went to PPS mock draft, and we're going to talk about a little bit with Fields because they actually have him slotted in this one going to my team, which I'm not a big fan of.
We can talk about that because I was going to bring that up, but I was going to wait because I see how closer down.
Yeah, we're at 4 right now, and I think that's where we're probably gonna stay. I don't think we have any much room to. I mean, if we win, we do crazy stuff like that. Win the last game of the year, and then end up going like we're probably at like the 12th, 13th pick after winning if we win on Sunday. But anyway, in the PPF they got Zach Wilson. The Jets drafting Zach Wilson actually.
Yeah, let's move on from that.
Yeah, I was about to say this. I think it was probably from last week anyway. But yeah, what do you think he's a good fit for? I guess my Atlanta Falcons. What do you think about that?
Man, I'm gonna be honest. That would be crazy. Like, just some stuff works out the right way. A kid being from Atlanta, that would be a dream scenario for him, and I feel like it'll be perfect. You already all right. Offensive line needs some help, but you have, Julio's old, but I think he got like 3 more Pro Bowls, 2 to 3 more. How old is Julio? 31.
He probably turned 31 this year.
I could see him having like 3 more 1,000-yard seasons, so I think that's a good jump start to Fields' career. And then he would have Ridley. I think they're good because they have weapons surrounding him. He's in the A. He's home. I don't know though, because I don't think they're giving up on Matty Ice yet. I know he's getting old. They need to replace him, but I don't know if they'll replace him right then and there.
Yeah. Before I go into my take, appreciate you, Dave, for tuning in, following us on Twitter and Spotify. I would definitely give you a follow back. And thank you for tuning into the show. Got an Ohio State fan here. Congrats to you, sir. We talked about it a little bit earlier, and we're talking about your guy now, if he's going to my Atlanta Falcons or not. But congrats. Like we both said, we're happy to see, a different team in there. And hopefully you guys, prove yourselves and do something against Alabama when the time comes. But like you said, Trevor's going number 1. Yeah, we both said we believe Trevor's still going number 1. We both actually have teams that's going to be in the top 5 in draft picks. So
interesting, man, when March and April comes around.
Yeah, really interesting. So, yeah, my take on Fields to Atlanta, I'm not big on it. I understand, like you just said, it would be big for him. Kid from, the area. He's shown he's capable of, the performances like he had yesterday, but he's also shown in, like I said, Northwestern or the other game, Indiana, not Indiana. Yeah, it was Indiana, or was it Wisconsin? One of those 2 teams that he can have, down performances as well. Again, yeah, Indiana. Yeah, I'm not looking too much into those games and 1 games or whatever. Overall, as a body of work, I do think he's a great quarterback, and he's of the quarterbacks that's of coming of age nowadays in the NFL. The mobile style, strong arm, accurate style quarterbacks like that we're seeing nowadays. So I would, but it's just that, like you just said, I don't know. They're pretty much going to give the new regime. I guess they just want to answer from the new regime what they want to do with Matty Ice and, like you said, Julio, and then oh, he said what when we'll land a pick. We pick right now. We're picking 4, but we just talked about it. If they win Sunday, who knows? They might go like 10th or
Who's in the
something.
third spot, though? Do you know?
You said what?
Who's in the third spot after the Jets?
Oh, the Dolphins, because they got Houston's pick.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, so it's like they're.
I mean, at least the quarterback will be there. If the Jets don't take him, he'll be there.
Did you guys have BRU quarterback to Jets? We don't know. We don't even want to talk about that, honestly. Like we feel like that's blasphemy. That's fake news. That's all that. So it's
we'll talk about him another day. I would say something about how I feel about that right now, but we can wait until it.
Yeah, we'll probably talk about that more so. I mean, tomorrow or say right before the national championship or closer to the draft. But yeah, we don't agree with that whatsoever. But there are mock drafts that have them slotted there. But yeah, just I guess to finish my point on Justin Fields to Atlanta. I don't know, like having him come in, sit behind Matt, that would be cool and all, but we're just like other kind of teams. Well, not just like other teams. We've been slotted as the worst, best team in the league. So like it's like we have potential. We got players that can make plays, and like there's games that we should have won.
We'll talk about that tomorrow. The game we were just talking about them last week.
Yeah,
how they play up to their opponent.
Oh yeah, exactly. Playing just ridiculous. I forgot I didn't even do like a little Falcon slide through. Like they should have easily won that game, but it's crazy. I was like, we didn't even talk about it. It's crazy, like how even probably not even a Falcons fan anymore, because obviously you're not a Falcons fan, but you're around the team. We're both from Atlanta, but just knowing like something is gonna happen because something else didn't happen. Like
the drop pick.
Yeah, right when he drops the pick, they coming back with the touchdown right after. As a Falcons fan, that touchdown was coming the very next play. Like
I didn't pick the next play, but I just knew they were going to score. I was like, oh, Terrell had the pick. Mahomes tried to give him the game, but you give him another chance to survive.
Yeah, I'm the Falcons fan.
Jaguars fan.
Yeah, Jaguars fan, Atlanta Falcons fan. I'm the Falcons fan. And so will Matt Ryan be back? So we're about to talk about that in a second, but I believe he should be back. We have too much money in him, and he only has 2 more years, including this upcoming year on his contract. I feel like they're gonna let him play it out. But then again, they're gonna probably give that decision to the new regime. But like I said, Browns fan here in Ohio. Appreciate you for tuning in. If you follow us, we're going to be talking about your team tomorrow, more than likely, because it's a big day for you guys.
Big game.
Yeah. But yeah. Falcons fans already knew they was going to give that game away. And then also on the kick, the tie, it's crazy. I swear I tweeted, I was like, tell me, did that kick not look like it was straight down the middle? And then all of a sudden it's like someone like threw like a rock at it and it just went the other way. Like it was a perfect kick down the middle, and just like all of a sudden like someone pulled the string and it just went sideways. I'm like, ain't no way Cool pulled it like that. But again, like I said, being a Falcons fan, I already knew if it's coming down to us having to tie the game last second, we're not gonna come through, because even though he's a Pro Bowl kicker this year, he was like 35 for 30, not 35 for 35, but I think he had like made like 35, 36 field goals this year. Took over number 1 in our, in that category. He scored the most points for us this year. And it's like somebody that reliable, it doesn't matter. He's on the Atlanta Falcons. He's wearing a Falcons jersey. It's going to come down to him having to win us the game. He's going to miss the field goal. So I already knew it was coming. But like I said, that's another story for another day. Going back to Fields, I would like to see him, I guess, be behind Matt for a year or two, but I don't think that's the direction we need to go. The guy I've been talking about, it don't even really have to be his guy. We have to go edge, but we have to go playmaker edge, like a big name, big guy that's gonna,
Would you do Michael Parsons from Penn State? Would you be okay?
A lot of people are saying Michael Parsons. I'd be okay with it. I don't know why, and it's weird that I want this guy, but Gregory Rousseau.
Miami,
yeah. he ain't played all year. Again, that's a weird reason why I kind of want him because he hasn't played all year. He's really been focusing on himself, his draft stock. He's not gonna have any really nagging type injuries coming in to the
Yeah.
draft. He's pretty much fresh. Like he's been focusing on himself. Last year had him a big year. I think he was ACC Defensive Player of the Year. Um, they say he's a raw talent, raw guy, but he's big. He's big, he's fast, and he's physical, and that's just something that we don't ever have from our edge rushing spots, like ever. Like we always go small linebacker type rushers, and it's weird. But I think he'd come in and immediately be a game changer for us, depending on what style of defense we may switch to or may not switch to. So that's who I'd rather have instead of Fields. But it just depends. If we get Fields, I might be upset for the moment, but I'll just look towards the future. Maybe, like I said, the new regime knows something I don't, and we'll be fixated to go with him in the future. He'll have his opportunity, I guess.
It kicked me out for like 30 seconds.
Oh no, you good? You got me now?
Yeah, I can hear you now.
Oh, okay, yeah. I was just saying, like, I just wouldn't. I'd rather want Greg over Fields, but if we do go Fields, like I said, maybe the new regime knows something I don't know. He gets to learn behind Matt.
Maybe I'll trade Matt to San Fran with Shanahan.
For what? It's like what do you think Matt would be worth? A third?
Fourth? Third, fourth.
And I just feel like that's not good enough. Like for a starting caliber quarterback that's gonna go in. He still has, I think Matt Ryan has, I think in the right system with protection, because he always gets hit a lot of hurries, a lot of pressures, a lot of sacks. Pretty much every year he's been a Falcon. If he goes into a system where he's protected and upright, I think he has at least 4 more years. So I don't know.
I'm one of the people that doesn't hate Matt Ryan. I think he's a good quarterback. Mm-hmm. Y'all don't appreciate him enough. He didn't get y'all a ring, but he's a solid NFL quarterback, and not everybody has had that. He lasted over a decade. So
longevity. No one's had a longevity at a quarterback spot, and you say a guy that's reliable. And like you said, they don't appreciate him. There's a lot of people that want this Justin Fields thing to happen for us. And like you just said, would be a local story for Fields to go to the Falcons. And we're actually about to get into this now. The Jags fired the coach today. What I just told Thad before we got on air was that this guy might possibly be the Jaguars' new head coach this upcoming year. Urban Meyer, hasn't coached in the last few years, but of course, coming off, I think the last time he coached, they came off the national championship game with Ohio State. So, Thad, since you're the Jaguars fan, I'll let you, take reins. What do you think of this news? Jaguars firing their coach today, and then possibly Urban Meyer may step in and be that next head coach for you guys.
Not going to be too long because there's not much to talk about. They didn't. I don't think they fired Marone yet, but they will probably tomorrow. Mm-hmm. I agree with. I don't know how to say that name, but I agree. Mm-hmm. I was saying that before we got on. I'm not really buying into the college guy jump into the NFL. Every known coach had somebody that gave them a chance. Your Sean Payton, your Bill Belichick, those type of coaches, but Tony Dungy, Mike Tomlin, people like that. But you just, I can't really. I don't want to, with my team. I don't want to take that risk. You see, Nick Saban didn't pan too well in the league, even though the Dolphins didn't let him get Drew Brees because it felt physical. But I'm just not really a fan of Urban Meyer and him going to the league. And I feel like he'll do what he does in college. Like he'll get stressful, and after 4 years, he'll bail out. He'll make an excuse. I don't know what goes on. Kind of, every time he steps down, he says there's something going on home, and then a year later he's back out there. So I'm just not.
Yeah, that's what he did to us.
I'm not a big fan of him for the NFL. Hopefully he proves me wrong somewhere else, but not in Duval. And I don't know exactly what like he needs a head coach, man. I think because we're starting off with our, new quarterback, fresh regime, I think it's going to be an offensive-minded guy. But I'm interested to see. I'm excited for the offseason, which I've never said before. But yeah, looking forward to what we got going on in Duval.
Yeah, I feel that. Just like he's saying, he said rah college motivator, don't work in the pros. That's grown man. Yeah, Exactly, grown men. So, I overall, like you said, I don't know. I was just kind of surprised and shocked by the news. A lot of people were saying like him and Justin Field, two Buckeye guys, going to the same place would be cool. I guess if you guys were to take Justin Fields, or whatever. But overall, I don't know. Like you just said, I think it'd get too stressful. It would be too much. Even though Jacksonville is not, a big name market, and the media isn't on everybody's backs all the time. Like after each, practice, each game, they're not in the headlines in the news or whatever. He is a guy that we've seen. It gets a little stressful. Something's happening, in his personal life, and he moves on. We saw it with me at Florida. He just saw it wasn't even that. He just saw that I guess his recruiting classes weren't going to be where they were initially. He was losing a lot of big name guys, of course, with Tebow and Percy Harvin and all those guys. And then took a year off or whatever, decided to move on to Ohio State, where I guess the pastures were greener on that side. So I don't know. I can see that possibly happening. I think like these guys are saying as well. He's just not really a fit for the NFL as a whole. I think, office coach will be good in Jacksonville, like you just said. I think somebody that's an offensive-minded head coach, kind of like the same thing I want for Atlanta. If we do go young offensive-minded head coach, I want somebody that's a veteran defensive coordinator that has had some type of either head coaching experience or has been a DC for a really, really long time to kind of balance out, that relationship, that young old influence on the team as a whole. So I think I don't know if Urban can be any of that. Like, I think he's an overall good coach, good guy, good motivator, like Big Guy Triv said, but I don't think the jump from college to NFL is right for him as a whole. And he said he agreed. He already turned down the offer. Well, makes sense. And I also think too, when people get into broadcasting, I really feel like, well, what's the point of even with certain people, I guess certain jobs, certain broadcasting jobs, I'm like, once you get into broadcasting, I'm like, what's the point of even going back to that head coaching gig or, defensive coordinator, offensive coordinator gig? It's like you already got it made talking in the studio, you know, about the same thing. Like I feel like it's a lot easier, a lot, chiller. And I feel like that fits his lifestyle and everything that he needs to be doing right now. So I don't think he really needs that NFL stress. And it'd be cool for it. I guess it'd be a cool little storyline, but I know it's just not something that you would want. And I don't know. I just don't think he should jump from, one broadcasting now because he's been out of coaching for like 5 years, I want to say. Yeah,
Not
5 years.
but
He said what?
wait, he hadn't been out 5 years straight. I don't think because
Also, I'm saying like 5 years, the last 5 years, because when the last time he was head coach was Zeke and them was there, or was it
nah
like a
he
year after?
he coached Haskins in his 1 year, and then
Oh yeah, you're right. My fault.
yeah. Haskins was his last year as a
You're right.
coach.
I forgot about that. I'm thinking over here. I'm thinking of Cordell. But
Yeah.
yeah, you're right. Yeah, 2 years, 2 years. Okay. It last year, 2020, then felt like 2-3 years to me. So I'm over here adding on some time to his coaching career. But yeah,
I just see it,
yeah,
man.
just overall,
I'm glad
I
he
just don't
turned
think
it
that.
down.
Yeah, but let me see. Urban can't handle stress of 18-hour workday in the NFL.
Real quick, he can't. Like Florida was stressing him out. Ohio State, they were showing clips of him like they didn't know if he was gonna have a heart attack on
Mm-hmm.
the sideline. He can't deal with that, the expectations. And then after a while, the rah-rah stuff gets old. That's why I kind of feel like, in a way, they said the players are kind of getting tired of Jim Harbaugh, the 49ers, in a way. Like, that stuff wears off. It wears on you after a while. So, and they're kind of I think Jim Harbaugh is a little more naggy, but they're both those type of naggy, motivational. They're pushing you, but it's annoying at times. But
Yeah.
we'll see.
So
We'll see.
I guess since he said David already said that he turned down the offer, and Marone's supposed to be out of there tomorrow. So who would, if you do have any guys on your radar, who do you think they should be off or should be looking at?
Brain cyst at Ohio State. Wow.
Yeah, I didn't know that. I knew the heart issues was at Florida, but like just the way things happen, it just seemed like it was an excuse. But yeah,
I got to see the list of candidates. There's usually names. I don't really look into that stuff, like who the head coaching candidates are. But that stuff starts getting hot after the Super Bowl. But You know, my number one person is going to be the person that should have had a job last year. I feel like Eric Bieniemy. He's a young offensive mind, played in the league. I don't know if he's getting too much credit for Mahomes. I know he has great players, but him and Andy Reid are both calling plays, and they're very innovative doing it. They're very creative. That would be my guy because young up and coming coach, young quarterback might be a good combo. But we got to see the names. I hope we don't go down to college to get anybody, but maybe we get an OC from a team that took off this year. I'm trying to think of a team that took off offensively that might have an OC out there looking for a job, but right now I don't know. I might be able to answer this question in February. When we can interview some coaches and stuff.
Yeah, so. I have seen this name that he just put up, Brandon Staley.
Yeah, they've been playing great this year.
Yeah.
I didn't know. I kind of questioned them letting go of Wade Phillips, but maybe Sean McVay or ownership saw something that we didn't. They're in the office every day, so they see what we don't.
Exactly. Yeah. Because I have seen Brandon Staley. I don't know. Go ahead, coach somewhere. There's gonna be a few head coach opportunities that open up, but I don't for both of our teams. I don't know. For me, I don't know if I want to go back down the defensive head coach, or pronoun defensive head coach route, because just the thing ever since every time I'm about to say his name, I always forget it because I'm just so happy that he's not with us anymore. But help me, our head coach before. Yeah, not now, not Raheem Morris.
Well, I'm not tripping. Dan
Quinn. Yeah, I was like, ever since Dan
Quinn. You hate him that much?
I didn't hate him. He was a cool guy, but it's like literally, and I don't know why. Every time I'm about to say his name, I always forget, and it's been like that ever since we let him go. But I don't know. I just don't want to go down like another defensive hole, or defensive head coach, pronounced defensive head coach hole with that guy. Because ever since he came, like there was only 1 year our defense was really stout and really carried our team, and that was the year after we lost the Super Bowl. Because 2017 was the year Matt was trying to figure out things with Sarkisian, and our offense struggled, but our defense was really good. But other than that, we haven't had.
Just to cut off real quick, that's why I kind of questioned the Bieniemy thing, because is he a product of the Chiefs' environment? Mahomes, Kelsey, Hill, Lair, all the playmakers they had, Sammy Watkins, like Dan Quinn was under Legion of Boom. His name was out there, but it was it's looking like it was mainly the players and the scheme.
Yep.
Can't run that team with everybody, so
Yep. He said Quinn.
You gotta see, man. You gotta see.
Yeah, Quinn was definitely a players type coach. I feel like he didn't really hold guys accountable as much as he should have. I know me and one of my guys, Ryan, joked about it. He said, like, I feel like it would be a play that they ran wrong like 10 times in a row in practice, and he would just kind of like pat him on the back, like, all right, guys, let's go. We can get it right. We can get it right. Let's go. Instead of like really getting in their ass and like, correcting it. Like, I feel like he was just like too nice overall.
That's like I said, I feel like that's a little disrespectful.
You think so?
I give Jason Garrett that title. He's the type, you miss a read 5 times. Come on, man, we'll get it tomorrow. But not.
We'll get it tomorrow.
Yeah. What they call him?
You think Dan Quinn was one of those types?
Huh?
So you think Dan Quinn wasn't one of those types?
I don't think he was that soft. I think he'll get in your ass if he has to, but you never know. Like Tony Dungy was a player's coach, but they knew to respect him. Like they played hard for him. I don't know. Like he's not.
Yeah, that's what. Yeah,
doesn't even cuss.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I guess I'm not saying he's a players coach and that's a bad thing. I like players coaches. I like guys that can relate to, the guys on the squad, because I feel like that connection is very, very important. But I think because I think Raheem Morris is also a players coach. But I think
Mike Tomlin.
Yeah, and but I think Raheem Morris is similar to Mike Tomlin, as in like he's a players coach, but he will not call out guys in the media or whatever, but like he can hold guys accountable and responsible in the media in a respectful way, but also behind closed doors as well, to where he's just like a little bit more on them and bringing out their potential a little bit more than Dan Quinn probably was. I guess is what I feel like. And real quick, I wanted to, before we end off the show, and talk a few more, I guess, coaching points. He actually asked about Matt Campbell and Lincoln Riley. Do you think they're NFL ready? I'm on the
I
maybe train with Riley, but I don't know.
go ahead. I couldn't hear what you
No,
said. You
you can
said
go first. Oh, he just said with Matt Campbell, Lincoln Riley, are they ready for the NFL? And I said Lincoln Riley. I said I'm like on the, I don't know, I'm on the maybe train, but then again, I'm not too sure. Like I'm not positive.
this
But
shit.
I'll let you. You can go ahead take it.
Yeah, I'll be real quick. For Lincoln Riley, I'm fond of him. Seems like every quarterback he gets in his system is successful, and it's his system. Like he had he didn't have the same type of success, but when he was at East Carolina previously, he became a hot name because of how his quarterbacks were producing and how he was having success. So I could see him, getting a chance. Just how all those other McVay, Matt LaFleur, Kingsbury, how they all got opportunities. When
Mm-hmm.
people didn't think they were ready. So you never know. Matt Campbell, I'm not too high on. I think if I'm correct, that's the Iowa State coach they're playing
Yeah,
now.
it is.
He's definitely helped the program. He's built the program, but I think he's gonna have to have a couple more years of success before he jumps to the NFL
Yeah,
because
that's all.
the NFL is not for everybody.
Yeah, exactly what I was about to say. I said with Lincoln Riley, I'm more so on the maybe train, but I feel like his product of success is like you just saying, having a quarterback that fits the type of offensive system that he runs. We've seen him have Kyler, we've seen him have Baker, we've seen him have Jalen Hurts, we see him now have Spencer Rattler, and they all certain guys that have certain skill sets. And for me, I guess when I was talking about the Falcons, because I did like a yes, no, maybe with coaches candidates, and for him, I said maybe. Matt obviously isn't the type of quarterback. I feel like Matt's a pro, but he's not the type of quarterback that fits, I guess, his offense's style of system. And also, I was saying like he's an offensive minded guy, but lacks their defense obviously lacks. This year they've been a lot better, but history wise tells you Oklahoma and just Big 12 defenses in general just aren't really good at all.
Mm-hmm.
So, and that's our problem. We need help on the defensive end. Offensively, I feel like if we get a new offensive coordinator in there tomorrow, we're instantly better. So, like offensively, I'm not focused on. I'm not worried about that. But I defensively, I need somebody who's not going to lack on that side of the ball. And I feel like with Lincoln Riley, I feel like he has a strong hold on that offensive side and can have that down pack. Like if he came up with our team as an offensive coordinator, I'm all for it. But as a head coach, I feel like somebody else may need that type of.
And he's young too. He has to worry about getting those guys respect. Like it's a lot. It's not for everybody. I'm just
Yeah,
telling you. They run some coaches come to the league and they get ran out the door by grown men. So
yeah, yeah. But like you said, young coaches relate well to players. Definitely on the college level, they do. In NFL, I think we're starting to see maybe that turn. I do know. I think he said it earlier. Steven Stefanski, he's pretty young. Um, you
hey,
know,
he's one of the exceptions. Yeah,
yeah,
he can just got the whole team's respect. They're
mhm,
bought in, playing hard. It's a lot. But it's a hit or miss type deal. Like that's why people do their research. That's why they. I don't know. I don't know what they do to find head coaches. They go look at background info. Ask their
yeah,
old people they work with. Sometimes it's hit or miss. You just never know. You got to trust your gut and put in the work.
yeah. And that's my fault. I think I said Steve. I meant Kevin Stefanski. But
Whatever you call him.
um, yeah, of course. But
What was he? He was just the Vikings offensive coordinator, nothing
coordinator, yeah,
before, really. Yeah.
yeah, yeah. So it's like you just said, it's kind of hit or miss with certain guys. Um, So who knows? We'll see. Both of our teams are going to be looking for or not offensive coordinator. Well, mine's going to be looking for offensive coordinator, but both of our teams going to be looking for new head coaches, have new regimes coming in, and it'll be exciting to talk about moving forward. I guess last point I want to I guess ask. We're going a little bit off topic based off everything that we've been talking about, but he said, "Do you guys like Baker on the Browns?" And I know I have comments and strong opinions about it. And I actually don't know yours. Before we end off the show, I guess like I said, it's not what we've been talking about, but I do want to talk about this real quick just because he's been tuning in, asking us questions, and I like it. So, what do you
Yeah.
think about Baker on the Browns?
Um, Wish I would have known about this before I could think about this more, but I don't know, man. It's weird. Like he has all the tools: a strong running game, strong O line, two tight ends, well, three tight ends really, and a solid, okay receiving core with Odell. And it was like he couldn't produce. But now without a number one receiver and really a possession receiver in Landry, he's done what he's had to done. I'm not saying he's a game manager. I think he's a little bit above that. I don't know. Baker, I feel like I need to see just a little more. I want to see how he responds tomorrow, playoff type game, even though Big Ben's not playing, but they need to win. Like, how is he
Yeah,
going to react in this situation and how is he going to play in the wild card and further? So I'll be able to answer this later on. But Baker right now, I'm still skeptical. I'm not bought in. I wouldn't sign him to extension, but I wouldn't just let him walk away just yet. He's a little inconsistent. He has too many highs and lows, but I just don't think he's necessarily a bust yet. I'm gonna give him another shot. I say give him another year, or we'll just know a lot more in the next coming weeks. He's never been in this position yet in the pros. We got to see how he responds because the great players are made when it matters the most, which is the playoffs for the most part.
Yeah, exactly. Appreciate you for tuning in for sure. We'll give you a follow right after we hop off of this. Thank you for saying you love our takes, know the game. Like I said, follow us, and we'll definitely follow back, and we appreciate the compliments for sure. Guess my thoughts on Baker real quick. I like him as well. I don't know. It's like I said, at first I didn't like him. I didn't. I'm not even gonna lie. I didn't like him. I didn't think he was the right quarterback for that team, for that system. He was, especially last year when I feel like they surrounded him with so much talent, so many weapons, and they actually had a defense as well. I was like, all right, this is kind of like his year. He should be able to bring them to the playoffs, or at least close, like vying for the playoffs. And the way he performed last year, I was just like, yeah, that's it. They might need to move on. They need to bring another quarterback in. Something needs to happen. But this year, like you said, it started out that way as well. I feel like there was a lot of pressure on him to get the ball to Odell, to make him happy, even though Odell wasn't really like, I think it's just Odell, like the media loves to bash on him, but he wasn't really like, trying to make the attention on him, like as if he needed the ball, need to get the ball, especially like earlier this year when he was playing. But ever since he's been out of the lineup, like you said, like Landry and like, those 2s and 3s that came up after Odell, he's felt like more comfortable. We've seen him have big games throwing the ball. We've seen him have, make accurate throws, timely throws, and bring his team either back in games or take off in games that we weren't even expecting, especially like the Titans game. So, it's the potential is there, the capability is there, the talent is there. He has all the tools that he needs, and I feel like that Kevin Stefanski hire has like proven to be, very important for not only that team but for Baker in general. A lot of people, I guess, thought like that same thing was going to happen with Freddie Kitchens, like oh, Freddie's his guy, they're going to click, they're going to be able to produce magic this upcoming year by giving him that head coaching spot, and just it didn't work like that. So I don't know. I think definitely think this mix with Kevin and him has helped. I know he had a pretty bad game last week, but I mean, I guess I'm not making an excuse for him, but they were without pretty much like all their receivers, but they still had Hooper, they still had Njoku, and they still had was it Bryant, the other tight end?
Yeah,
So it's like Harrison Bryant. Yeah, so he still had a guy to throw it to, but I guess their offensive scheme isn't really based off of throwing it to the tight ends. It's really not even based off throwing in general. It's based off run, and then once the run opens up things in the passing game, Baker, find your spots, find your guys. But overall, they've had a good year. They've had a nice year. I guess Baker's going to be their quarterback to the future as long as he continues to produce and play the way he has. But it will be interesting to see, like, if Odell comes back, they keep him, and like how that dynamic works again. Because I feel like with him, I think it's a head game. He's like just too focused on like the Odell type thing, the Odell storylines and all of that. So that's just, I guess, kind of my take. But as long as if they were able to win tomorrow, they're able to get in the playoffs, they will be pretty scary, especially with the run game, because everybody knows in the playoffs, if you got a run game and you got a defense that can give you stops and give your offense other opportunities, then you have a chance to win pretty much every single game that you play. So definitely will be interesting to see what they do tomorrow. And then, like I said, if they get in the playoffs from there on out. So, but yeah, that does it for today's show. I know we kind of went off the rails a little bit. Definitely thank you. I can't pronounce it, but Big Eye Triv for tuning in, asking us these questions. And also to David AF retiree. Appreciate you guys for tuning in, for watching. Definitely follow. Like I said, we'll follow back, and probably be doing another show tomorrow. We're going to be talking about the other college football games and the NFL game previews as well. So, Thad, any last words, any last takes?
Nothing much. We'll catch you guys tomorrow. Good show. Good way to start off the year. We're gonna, like I say every time, we're gonna be coming to y'all with more content. Stay tuned. We're only gonna get better. And that's about it. It's a wrap. We'll see y'all tomorrow.
Exactly. Yeah. Again, Well, new year, new us, new show. We'll be bringing you, like I said, more content, more shows, more takes, more just everything in general. Segments, commercials, all that. Probably some merch in the works as well soon. Um, and then also new overlay. I wasn't able to put it up today, but we'll have it up there tomorrow for you guys. But thank you, like I said, everybody for tuning in, for watching, for responding, for commenting, asking questions, all that. We love it. Like that just said, we're gonna continue to get better at this. It's a new year, and we're definitely excited to, you know, just be on talking sports and bringing you guys content each and every week. Thank you guys to and you too, stay safe, stay safe. Like I said, we'll catch you tomorrow if you're tuning in. Thank you guys to Off the Ball Network. Thank those guys over there for all the help that they give me as well behind the scenes. And yeah, that does it for another episode of What the Game Means to Me. We'll catch you guys tomorrow. Oh, make sure to follow us on Instagram at What the Game Means to Me, Twitter at WTGMTM Podcast, and then also on Facebook at What the Game Means to Me as well.
Sure.
Comment, share there, and then just let people know what we're doing. We're working, and we're gonna continue to work. So yeah, y'all, everybody stay safe. Have a good one. Happy New Year, and we'll see you guys tomorrow.